up, my Bravo-holics? Welcome back to the channel. It's time for another Real Housewives review. And today we're breaking down everything that happened in the recent Real Housewives of New Jersey Season 11, Episode 8. But before we get into it, it's time for a subscriber comment feature. All right, so this week's comment of the week, it goes to Housewives Recreated. They said, this is like the first time Jennifer isn't involved in the drama. You see everyone arguing and she's in the kitchen getting a drink. Laugh my ass off. Classic Jen. I'ma have to agree. Yes, she dropped a few bombs at the dinner fight, but when everything was all unfolding between Teresa and Joe and Melissa, Jen was nowhere to be found. She was just sipping some water in the kitchen, minding her own damn business. But then she had to go and open her mouth at the lunch, which... classic Jen as well. So let's get into this recap of the Real Housewives of New Jersey Season 11, Episode 8. So in this week's episode, we've got Teresa and Joe's memorial for Nono, their dad. We have Jennifer and Marge, their feud continues. And we begin to see Melissa and Joe marriage struggles, marriage on the rocks, divorce court, whatever you want to call it, fake storylines. There, I said it. All right, so I'm just going to say something a little controversial. This week's episode was boring. I feel like it was filled with fake storylines, and to be completely honest, I totally zoned out during this week's episode, and I had to rewatch it like 2 or 3 times to really take my notes and deliver this recap for all of you guys. That's how boring it was. So this week's episode, it opens and we're still at the Jersey Shore. However, we don't get any closure from last week's episode when we ended at the lunch with Marge and Jennifer going head to head, flinging insults back and forth with each other. We kind of just pick back up as if nothing even happened, which I found that really highly annoying. It just felt as if there was no real closure to what happened between Jennifer and Marge. And that's just my personal opinion. So everyone, though, is talking about Marge and Jennifer and how nervous they are for the dinner coming up because they don't want anyone fighting. So everyone is now getting ready for another group dinner. I'm assuming we're still in the same day because lunch just happened and now they're talking about dinner. And all the drama seems to happen over a meal. So maybe just give these women some snacks and let them do activities and they'll be completely fine. Let's stop with the group dinners because shit just goes south real quickly. So everyone's arriving at the restaurant and I must say this. I'm gonna say it. I am happy to see everyone wearing their masks and being decent human beings. There, I said it. I was getting so annoyed seeing this group prance into restaurants not wearing a single mask. So to see them being worn and really portraying the times that we're living through COVID times, it's actually nice to see. Like, we're still living through a global pandemic, people. Wake up and wear your mask. So Dolores, though, she seems a little tiffed that the group has to split up because due to regulations in the state of New Jersey, the restaurant is unable to sit groups of 8 people or more at one table. So they split up. The guys sit at one table, the girls sit at another table. So everyone is ordering their dinner and their drinks, and Joe brings up the prank that was played on him at Lake George that Melissa pulled about flirting with the bar owner. And he's all, see, she's a flirt. And he actually kind of believes that the prank was true, saying it has to have some sort of life. Like, is anyone else even buying that this is remotely true? Because I sure in the hell am not. Like, it was a prank. I'm not for 1 second buying that Melissa and Joe are all of a sudden on the verge of a divorce. I'm just not buying it. Like, Joe Gorga is all pissy because he thinks Melissa is too independent. It was a joke. Like, this whole thing was a joke. I see Joe and Melissa are very thirsty to stay relevant this season on The Real Housewives of New Jersey. So now Jennifer and Marge, they're going at it again. So Jennifer thinks that what Marge said about her husband being her meal ticket was mean. Marge thinks that Jennifer's only aspiration in life is to stay home, living the life that she's living and living off of her husband. However, Jen is a stay-at-home mom of 5, and that's a hard job. Like, being a stay-at-home mom, like, you have to take care of children, and Jennifer has 5 young kids. Bill takes care of everything financially, so Jennifer can be there and be hands-on with her kids. So Jennifer then thinks that what Marge said is belittling to stay-at-home moms. I don't think that's the case. I think Marge clapped back and went for the jugular because that's what will set Jennifer off. Marge knows how to push Jennifer's buttons. Marge just knows how to push anyone's buttons. I'm just gonna leave you with that. She knows how to push everyone's buttons. I don't think that Marge was trying to be demeaning towards stay-at-home moms. I think Marge went low to really hurt Jennifer. Just like what she did a few seasons ago when she was implying that Bill, has women over at the at their pool house, and when she's all hit a nerve. Like, I think that she was just saying that to really dig in deep and get Jennifer going. And I think that's exactly what Marge is doing right here. But Marge is upset because Jennifer threw the fact that Marge slept with her boss, when she was starting her career, threw it in her face. Jennifer is upset because Marge talked about this whole sleeping with the boss thing in front of the whole group, and she's talking about it in her book. So Jennifer kind of is looking at it as, well, I don't really see what the big deal is here because you just talked about it with everybody and you're talking about it in your book for the entire world to read about, which then makes Marge get really upset. And she goes, I think you have a perception problem. You're just going to have to read it in my book and then maybe your tune will change. I mean, maybe. I don't really know what the whole backstory is with all of that. Good news is I did order Marge's book, and I will read about it, and I will tell you about what I read in that book. Oh, here's where I get lost, y'all. Here is where I get lost. The dinner is ending. Joe is very pissed off at Melissa because Melissa didn't walk out of the restaurant with him. She got up and left on her own with the other ladies and left Joe in the dust. So Joe is now so pissed off, like so pissed off. Joe is like, you just walked out without me like you don't even have a husband. I'm sorry, bro. It's not that deep. Take a chill pill. So now Joe and Melissa, they're arguing back and forth. Joe thinks that Melissa is too successful, too independent. He doesn't like that she's a businesswoman now. They used to be so attached, like attached at the hip, and now they aren't, and Joe isn't really handling it very well. Appearances, red carpets, fashion weeks, meetings, The Real Housewives of New Jersey, all this stuff is taking Melissa away from giving Joe the attention that he so desperately wants and needs. But here's the thing, Joe is upset because he feels as if Melissa is working more now than ever. She's running a store, she's going to fashion week, trade shows, red carpets, appearances, interviews. However, we're not living under a rock. None of those things are happening right now because over the past year, we've been living through a global pandemic, working from home. None of that stuff is happening. Like, we're living in a panty, y'all. Like, who's buying that? I'm not buying that. Saying that Melissa is working so much now. Bitch, no you ain't. We're all stuck at home. You'd think that over this past year, Melissa would be working less. So I am not buying that for a second. Who are you trying to fool, guys? Gorgas, who are you trying to fool? Pulling that fake storyline on me. Get out of here. Also, they're on the show. Together. They work together on the show. They have to film together. Come on. I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. I'm not picking up what you're putting down. I'm just not buying into these fake storylines to keep yourself relevant, to make us think you're getting a divorce, when just at the beginning of this episode, Joe, you're squeezing Melissa's ass, being all sexual with her. Nope, can't do it, not buying it, not picking up what you're putting down. Sorry about it. Joe thinks that Melissa let all the fame get to her head. Bro, you're also doing appearances. You did a book tour. You have a book out. I'm just not buying this. But can we also just pause on this for a second? Remember a few seasons ago when Melissa thought she had a long-lost sister? Yeah, we never heard about that again. Remember when Melissa wanted another baby? Yep, also never heard about that again. And now they're trying to spin on us that they are in marital problems, getting a divorce. Probably not going to hear about that again after this season. So stop trying to peddle these fake storylines on us, because I'm not buying it for 1 second. Please. But I will say the winner of this week's episode was Dolores falling asleep in the van after dinner. Sis, that's a mood. Been there, done that. And then Teresa coming in hot with the sexual tension.
I put on lemons. Maybe someone will want to suck my lemons?
There you go.
At least, love her or hate her, sometimes Teresa does. She does come through with some good comedic relief when I just think Teresa is such a piece of shit. She opens her mouth and the most ridiculous, hilarious things come out. And I'm just like, bring me that Teresa, please. Bring me that Teresa. So then, after this dinner, after the fight between Joe and Melissa, we have a lot of filler. A lot of filler that nothing really happened, and it's just not even worth recapping. So we're just going to rewind right to lunch. But I will say this really quickly. Joe Gorga mentioned that Melissa is so busy now that maybe they need to hire an au pair. I'm just going to leave it at that. So here we go with another meal, and fingers crossed that it's peaceful. We're starting the lunch off light. Pineapples. Need I say more?
I like your pineapples.
Thank you.
Did you wear that for me?
So you can eat it up.
Ah, okay.
Joe is going through some insecurities, though, all right? Joe and Melissa's marriage issues is the hot topic at lunch. I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. Jackie, she's trying to explain to Teresa what happened the night before, because Teresa wasn't there and Teresa doesn't know. They were in separate vans. Jackie says that she thinks Joe is very anxious about his father's life celebration party that's going to be happening that evening. Jackie explains that Joe's mom lived for her family, and Joe thought that that's who Melissa was going to be. And then Melissa got so busy and kind of found her voice and found her passion and decided to go and venture and do her own thing. And that's not really who Melissa is now anymore. And that's where I think all of this is kind of stemming from. But y'all had a year during this panty to be together. So clearly you didn't learn anything over the past year. Just gonna say it, okay? So all while this is happening, Joe's phone was left at the table because he went up to go see a friend, and the phone is blowing up. Call and call and call and call and call. And Melissa's like, what the hell is going on? And it's from someone named Realtor Giselle. It's another prank. I'm not even gonna pretend like this is some big to-do. It's not. Revenge is a dish best served cold. Joe got his payback and pulled a prank on Melissa to get even with her for the shit that she pulled at Lake George. Joe changed Frank Catania's contact card in Joe's phone to Realtor Giselle, and is this the Realtor Giselle anyone else thought of?
So you from the area?
We're actually looking for a home in Potomac, Maryland.
You don't have a home?
No? Just me? Okay. But yeah, Joe pulled this prank to see if Melissa would get jealous. And she did. And it showed Joe that Melissa still has fire for him. I'm just not buying it, people. I'm not buying it. So now we close this week's episode with Teresa and Joe's life celebration for their dad, better known as No-No. And I just thought that this whole scene was the highlight of the entire episode. And I wish it wouldn't have been saved for the last 5 minutes of the episode. I really wish they would have showcased this just a little bit longer. I feel like it was an afterthought. Gia, she gave a very touching speech honoring her grandfather, but I'm just gonna say what we're all thinking. Anyone else during this speech had flashbacks of this moment?
Waking up in the morning, thinking about so many things. I just wish things would get better. I'm trying to get rid of them, but nothing seems to stay the same.
There, I said it. So I feel like this just needs to be said about this current season of The Real Housewives of New Jersey. I don't understand it. It seems a little forced, a little disingenuine, and I feel like some of the cast members have almost run their course. And they're not giving us what we deserve, or they just don't really have anything else left to give. Like Teresa. Her only storyline this season so far was the cheating rumors. And I'm hoping that that can change when we meet her new boyfriend. And I hope that we get to see a different side of Teresa. That's what I'm hoping for. Jackie, she was only featured with the cheating rumors. Other than that, it's like I don't really understand what Jackie's point is on the show. There, I said it. What is her point? I would really like to see more of these women's backstories and who they are. Like, I would like to see Jackie working. She's saying that she's an attorney and she's a journalist. Okay, I'd love to see that. I just don't think that being part of a cheating rumor makes you a housewife. There, I said it. Dolores, Jesus. I love Dolores, but what is the point of her? Seriously, outside of David and Frank, what do you have going? Jennifer, not really sure what her storyline is either. Her parents' issue? I don't understand it. Marge, I love Marge, but again, I don't know what is going on with her this season. Her book? What does she have to offer this season? Melissa, girl, bye. Your marriage issues that you're peddling on us, get out of here. Fake storylines, forced storylines, made up whatever to kind of make yourself feel relevant. There, I said it. This is all just my personal opinion, and this is just what I personally feel about the Real Housewives of New Jersey. I don't know. I feel like this season is just falling flat. I don't understand the point of some of these ladies. And no one really is like a core cast member anymore. You are driving the show. I just feel like no one's really driving the bus. So I don't really have high hopes for the remainder of the season. But next week, though, we have a psychic moment, and I'm hoping that a good psychic drudges up some shit to bring the heat. At least that's what I'm hoping for. Get yourself subscribed to my channel. Don't forget to comment below. Give me your best comments so you can be featured in next week's Real Housewives of New Jersey recap. I'll be back next week to talk all things Real Housewives of New Jersey. I'll catch you guys in the next one. I'm out. Bye.